And we're live. Alright, folks. So, last time, quite a bit of things happened. There was the aftermath, of the torching of Torine. There was, a kind of rivalry established between Kron Threefinger and Aramal Kapana, rivals for the ownership of the Blind Bottle, the tavern where you have come to stay most of the times you've been at Torine. As their pall of smoke, Pall of smoke, hangs over the town, and it's still a light snow continues to fall. You guys had a big long sleep, if I recall correctly, so it's actually late afternoon. I believe on the 25th of Jeksu, but I would have to open up the calendar to be certain. And let's see. Some of you went on a bit of a shopping trip here in the torched town. You visited the ancient market, got some various sundry goods at the ancient market, some of you made friends with the dwarf owner, and then you went over to Shrooms and Wing, where you purchased a potion, I believe.
Had a racist encounter.
Had a racist encounter, according to the way Equitus is interpreting it, with the proprietress. And the other group went over to the Anne-Marie Bourdion Town Hall in order to recover some of the town's records, hoping that they hadn't been burned by the devils that had attacked the town. However, although you managed to get inside after convincing the guard who's kind of keeping people out of the smoking ruin to let you take a look around inside, a mason came out with no papers and instead a strip of skin on which was burned the words in all caps and in common: "If you ever want to see your papers again, come to the tower unarmed, with lots and lots and lots of presents." Nothing else remains inside but some burned scraps. And I think that's where we left it. So, what is the group going to do right now? Let's go to the folks at Shrooms and Wing and the Ancient Market. What are you guys doing now that you've conducted your business?
I was thinking that we might want to go see how the rest of the group is doing over at the town hall. That's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Nope, we are done with our shopping, and we might as well go meet up.
Yeah. So that's what we would like to do.
Okay, so you're gonna walk across town to the town hall?
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Along the way, go ahead and move yourselves in front of Proudheart House. You come upon a man riding on a donkey, shouting at some of the common folk. The only one left behind is Cordy, who is not joining us this evening. She is going to go to the blind bottle and try some of the substance that she recently found up. So she's going to be out of commission for the rest of the evening.
Sounds good.
And maybe the next day. Okay. The man on the donkey is recognizable by one of you. I think only Breath, played by Jeremy, recognizes this man. It's Alderman Geemy. Now, he is shouting at these people.
Good friend.
He is shouting at these people, and in particular, one of them, an elf who kind of stands out from the crowd, with silver hair, a kind of a walking stick, a book under one arm, and fine clothing, although kind of covered with the very the straps and the clothes of an explorer's outfit. And this somewhat aged elf is being shouted at by Geemy and looking unhappy. And Alderman Geemy. Let me make sure. Riding on this donkey is waving a rolled up scroll of paper with a big red wax seal on it. And he's pointing it at this kind of distinguished looking elf, who, and shouting, "I don't care if you do come from the Academy. I don't care where you're going, and I don't care who you've come to see. I'm in charge now, not anybody else. Me, I'm in charge, and we need to rebuild. So you're all conscripted." And there's a kind of a general, like, noises of anger. There's a couple of people around. They look like farmers, probably from more of the outskirts of Taurine, or other folk who have kind of congregated around Proudheart House, as if Vale Proudheart were going to show up again and rescue them all.
How far away am I from the alderman?
50 feet.
Can I try and move in closer? And I'm going to try and get a good, strong smell as I approach to see if I notice his distinctive...
you only have to take a couple of steps forward before the miasma of strong alcohol flows over your face. He is reeking from atop this donkey, and he's kind of like riding around, and he's really focused in on this elf who looks like a traveler. Now, as you are all kind of leaning back as the wind shifts and blows the smell of unwashed donkey and dead drunk in the... it's late afternoon, but in the afternoon, Alderman, Leo, Samson, you are being shouted at by a man that you did not come here to see. Your understanding was that the mayor of this town was a paladin named Vale Proudheart, who would probably, find a place to put you up for the evening, make sure you got off safely, etc. And now you're being shouted at by this clearly drunk man riding a donkey amid the ruins of the town.
Okay. I guess so.
And one more thing. And this muscular fellow carrying a giant two-handed mattock has just come up and is like sort of sniffing the air. And looking over your shoulder, you see a bunch of people pretty much instantly recognizable as adventurers. There's this muscular human. There's a kind of a curly-feathered bird person, which, with your studies, you know is called an Aarakocra. There's a tiefling with the signature horns and tail, which you are pretty familiar with that race. They have come up and are kind of taking in the scene. And they look like a pretty likely bunch.
Akiri waves.
Not being the most observant person, I'm going to walk up straight to the elder and say, "Friend, I think that it's time that we have a planning session back in the boathouse." And I try and take control of the donkey and try and lead it away from the crowd.
As you approach, he is going to turn the donkey and try to ride away from you. And he's going to be shouting the meanwhile. But he's like, "Ain't no fancy talking elf going to take away my rights. No. I was the one that Vale left in charge when she's gone, and she's gone." And he's gonna ride in a circle and try to get away from you.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Bref, do you know this guy? Can he? Are they within shouting distance?
You're all next to each other.
Oh, okay. Hey, Bref, do you know this guy? What's
Oh, he's the alderman. Remember the first night we were here and I slept in the boat?
Ah, yes. Okay.
And he has kind of a private still in his place and, all that good stuff. I'm going to try and rush up and take control of the donkey still. Keep him from getting away.
I'd like to talk to the man donkey and say, "Listen, you drunk fool. You are clearly in charge of nobody." Turn away from him dismissively.
Dang. All right, I'm going to put you on the map.
Well then.
You're not huge.
All right. Okay, I know he's Alderman. What is his first name? Is Alderman what?
Giimi.
Oh, okay.
Giimi.
Okay, cool. All right, so Alderman Giimi, we're actually here to help. So if you can just calm down a little bit, we're gonna all help out together. Try to do what we can and get the town under control. But we're gonna need you to calm down.
He says, "You don't tell me to be calm, horn boy."
Okay. It's been a really, really long day, and you're gonna have to calm down, or we're going to make you calm down. You have a boathouse over there. We can make sure that you not leave the boathouse. And at this point, you seem like a danger to yourself and everybody else.
Some of the other farmers roundabout are kind of looking at you, and there's a couple of them whose eyes went wide, but most of them are kind of kind of just looking kind of sad, and you know, and Gimi is not really, he's not really responding to the full import of your words. He's not really listening. He's still he's really fixated on this elf and this well-dressed elf who just sort of said these cutting things and turned away. He's like now riding after him on the donkey, saying, "You there! You should get to work. We have to rebuild. We have to rebuild and build Taurine grander than it was before."
Well, I would agree. We need to rebuild, but you need to. Okay. and whose authority do you have to be ordering us to do anything?
Ah, finally a man of reason. Can you please listen to him?
Authority! I'm the alderman! And when the mayor's away, the alderman is in charge. It's right here on the paper, and he's like he's kind of manhandling this paper. His fingers seem a little greasy, and he's kind of like opening it up. You can't really see what's on it.
Can I grab that paper real quick from him?
You can try. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Alrighty, just a regular.
Well, technically, it's a kind of a grapple, but essentially, this is going to be an attack roll for you to reach out and snatch the paper out of his hands as he rides by on his donkey.
All right, so that would be D20 plus my dexterity, because I mean all my attack rolls on the sheet are all modified to hell and back. So there's a D20 plus dexterity, right?
Okay. Roll a D20, add your dexterity and your proficiency modifier.
Right. Okay, so that would be +3. Okay, there we go. How's a 6?
Unfortunately, you are not the quickest with your hands, and he rides out of reach on his donkey. He's still trying to chase down this elf in his drunken state, but he's kind of riding over to various farmer folk who are kind of standing around. And he's like, "You there!" He points somebody out and yells their name, which I have right here somewhere. There it is. Tim! Tim, he says! Lester! Tim Lester, you're good with carpentry. You need to open up Proudheart House. It's going to be Steelhold House now.
Alright, so Akiri's kind of done with this whole thing, and she's been watching this from the sidelines, just like, what is going on? So she's gonna come up to this guy and, like, see if she can kind of sneak up on him. Or, no, never mind. She's not going to sneak up on him. She's going to come up to him and, like, pat his leg, like, "Please listen to me, and cast Lesser Restoration.
Okay. Well...
Because this needs to stop.
What is the casting time and range of that spell?
It is touch, and I believe it's just an action. Let me see, though.
If you click it, the text should appear in chat.
Yep, one action and touch.
Gotcha. Okay. He is trying to avoid being touched. So unfortunately, I am going to require a melee spell attack from you.
That's okay. So what would that be? Just a 20 plus...
Oh,
Spell
man,
attack,
I
maybe?
know how it's calculated in the old editions. Just add your spell attack.
Okay, which I think is 6.
It's on
Should
your
be at the
sheet.
top of your if you go to the spells tab on your sheet.
Yeah, it's 6. So it'd be a 20 plus 6.
Okay.
That's a 19.
Wow. So while Equitus kind of waved his arms and Ref kind of walked up. Oh, hey, there's Leo. Hey, Leo, I see your camera now.
I can see him too.
Don't forget you're on push to talk, Leo. Anyway, the quick curly feathered pigeon creeps up and catches Alderman Gimme off guard and manages to cast Lesser Restoration, which immediately he blinks. And although the smell doesn't go away, he looks around and his eyes, which were quite red and bloodshot, clear. And he sits up straighter on the donkey and he looks around like confused.
Thank you.
And he looks
Carls.
down at you and he says, "What the hell did you do that for?"
You were being unreasonable, and now is not the time. So let's calm down, think about what we're saying, and actually do something you.
Gimme, she's right. You were being an asshole.
What a waste of a bunch of crazy rat.
Yeah, well, you can do it again now, I guess.
He sighs and looks around.
You are the alderman, and you are in charge now. Vale's not coming back.
That we know of. I mean, we're trying, remember?
He says, "Well, exactly, and we need to rebuild the town."
I agree with that.
Ugh, I feel sick.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, all right.
What would you say priority is?
Adventurers, sticking your nose in where it don't belong.
Hey, we were friends of Vale. This is kind of our home base at the moment.
You guys know Vale? I'm looking for him.
It's her. She was.
It's her.
Her.
Yeah, we do know Vale. We know Vale, yes.
Can you introduce me to her?
We would
That
love to.
Would be difficult. So how do you know Vale?
I'll answer that real quick.
Okay.
Unless Leo wants to make it up, but you know,
Nope.
Vale. Wow, what the hell did your camera just do?
I have no idea.
What?
It just like inverted
Suddenly-
from green to orange.
You need to cut down on the Cheeto.
It's kind of cool.
It's freaking me out.
And suddenly he's in hell.
You know, Vale. You were given a letter for her. Remember we put a letter on your character sheet? And also, basically, as I mentioned before, you read that the town of Turin, its current mayor, it was a powerful paladin of Mariko by the name of Vale Proudheart, who was friendly and who would help you on your journey. Had friendly relationship with the academy where you've been.
Got it. Can you? What was the question that was posed to me?
It was how do you know her? And I mean, if you want to just say what he said.
I'll just say I didn't know her, but I've heard good things, and we have a mutual friend.
All right. And yes, we knew her. She is gone right now.
Is there a reason you're speaking about her in the past tense?
Well, she's not dead, that's one thing. She's just
I like that.
not alive. Or not present. I feel like is probably the better wording.
I see.
So
we went on an adventure with her, and another person we were with turned out to be working against us secretly, and he trapped her somehow.
Interesting. Well, she was supposed to aid me in my journey to Arachne. Is that right? Arachne? Arachne. She was supposed to aid me in my journey to Arachne, so that was my primary reason for her. All this nonsense about her maybe existing or not existing, I don't care that much, honestly.
Oh, you're going to Arachne? Well,
we might be able to help you out with that. We are actually headed to Arachne ourselves, and so yeah, we could probably go with you. What kind of help were you looking for from her?
Well, I'm not super good at this whole adventuring thing. It's been a while since I was outside, so she was some protection and some aid and some supplies and some guidance, I suppose.
Okay, and do you mind if we ask why you want to go to Arachne? What's in Arachne for you?
Another person who I've read about in detail.
Do you mind if we ask about them? Because, we might be able to help you find them.
'Tis a personal family matter I don't want to get into.
Ah, gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, we could help escort you to Arachne. We're going there. We can do that. It's a thing, it's safer on the road when you're together.
And how am I to know that you are a trustworthy lot?
Oh,
I
you
suppose
don't?
the people around here seem to respect.
Oh, they don't.
I mean, we haven't killed you yet.
It's true,
Yeah.
but we're kind of in a crowded place. I feel like it might look bad.
Just ask around. I'm sure anyone here will tell you that we helped clear this town out of a demonic infestation that we certainly in no way at all maybe helped cause.
I raise my eyebrows at him and then say to the alderman, "Hey, drunkard, do you like these guys?"
What?
He's
Well, you are a very rude old man.
I mean, so are you. You guys sound like you'd be best friends, honestly.
Thank you, Lady Akiri. That is not necessary. Look, these people helped save the town. What stands still stands because they fought off a bunch of those melting devil things. So I'd say I'm thankful. But
Devils are by far the most
You're-
interesting creature.
we need to recover. People aren't respecting my authority. So we need to recover the town's charter from the town hall. Come along. You see him pull out a flask. He kind of shakes it to make sure it's got liquid in it, and he unscrews the top.
I'd like to
And-
mage hand
Quickly
throw
reach
it on the
out and
ground.
grab it and say, "Thank you for offering."
Okay, now I don't think Mage Hand works on something somebody is holding.
Okay.
But if you click the spell, the text will appear in the
Breath
chat.
hand does.
However, Breath can rush up and make an attack roll. So this will be d20 plus strength plus proficiency.
Yeah. Where's my proficiency? Oh, 2. Okay. So I'm just gonna click on my maul roll, but it'll be -1 from that.
Okay.
So 15.
Okay. If you read the last sentence of Mage Hand, the hand can't attack. Which I'm kind of interpreting this as an attack. So Breath, with his mighty strength, is able to just push up, wrestle the bottle out of his hands, and just throw it on the ground with a loud
No, I'm gonna
clunk
drink it
noise.
all.
Oh,
I'm
never
drinking-
mind.
I'm drinking it all.
You
Now
rip
that's
it out
a
of his
power
hands.
move.
And he
So
just
good
looks
of you to
on.
offer in this time of need.
He's like, damn thieves. And he kind of kicks the donkey with his feet kind of, they're pretty low to the ground. It's a short donkey. He goes riding off toward the town hall. A couple of the farmers kind of scuffing their feet, looking around. They kind of like got started halfway, like following his instructions, like starting to pick up the debris, even though the attack only ended this morning. The guy Tim, he said, wanted him to open up the house, is kind of like checking out the reinforced front door to like, how am I going to open this?
And Carrie's just gonna be like, I probably wouldn't. I have a feeling it's magic. And then she's gonna walk off.
Okay. So you go following Alderman Geemy. Meanwhile, back at the town hall where this whole cavalcade is about to arrive, what are Bella, Krim, and Mavra doing? You have just been presented with this strip of skin with writing on it.
Well, shit.
Says Krim.
Okay, let's go back in the town hall and not just, be waving our skin flag thing around here. Like, everyone back in the town hall, give me that, grab it and take it from the guy, who came out carrying it.
Okay, he is more than happy to let go of it. Releases it into your grasp. A couple of people nearby are, who are trying to get into the town hall to recover various papers that they've now just heard aren't there, kind of make, sounds of revulsion. You are glad that the worried-looking woman who said she was married to our Gnarls, you're glad she's not there, because she probably would have fainted with how nervous she already was.
So I turn to the crowd, holding this giant skin strip in my hand, and I say, all right, we seem to have some kind of an emergency on our hands, so everybody, please return to your houses, continue with the cleanup process, and we will update you with the situation as soon as we have it under control. And I'm just going to take the skin flag, and I'm going to put my hand on Krim's arm, and I'm just going to start dragging her into the town hall behind me.
So Charles Williams, the town guard, is like, I should probably take that in for evidence.
You should probably go find the alderman. He needs to be here to be aware of this situation.
At this point, he looks over and says, "Well, here he comes now!"
Perfect.
And points. And you guys see a man on a donkey reaching slyly into his boot for something, leading a kind of cavalcade of people, including your friends and an elf you haven't seen before.
Can I check around in the town hall and see if I can see anything else?
Certainly. You snoop around, you enter. Charles Williams isn't preventing anybody anymore because it doesn't seem like there's much to find to his eye. You examine the ashen remains of the burned town hall. Go ahead and make an investigation check as the rest of the players are moving their characters up to the town hall.
19.
Okay. Upon a close examination, you do find a couple of, slightly burned bits of paper. Some of them look like they were just random, others like they were specifically laid out near a disturbed area of ash where the skin strip probably was, on a table that hadn't burned. And these bits of paper, there's various corners of designs on them. They look like they were parts of official record documents. There's also like a kind of file cabinet that's been torn open. Go ahead and... Yeah. Go ahead and roll a D100 for me.
$50.
Okay. In that file cabinet, toward the back, with your 19 investigation check, you do find a only slightly discolored by heat, a compass. It's pretty. It's rather nicely made, with kind of iron scroll work. And a glass sort of dome top. It kind of has these sort of fleur-de-lis designs on it.
And
I'll pick it up.
Okay.
When
you pick it up, the needle spins right around a few times before coming to rest.
Is Krem and Bella near me?
They are outside as the alderman and the rest of the players are coming up. You guys should move your characters.
Can I take it and show it to them?
Certainly. You are now looking at the compass, Bella and Krim.
Well, that's a nice compass.
What did it
Can-
do?
I'm sorry?
Just like still spinning at random, kind of?
It spins around a few times and then comes to rest.
Is this now in everyone's view, or is this still inside?
You see some other people who look like adventurers. A dragonborn, that's sort of a dragonish person. A dwarf woman is holding something that that person and a half-elf carrying a set of bagpipes are looking at. And you're able to notice, a certain amount of recognition between them and the three folks you met outside of Proudheart House.
We found a friend. And it looks like you found something pretty.
I'd like to hail the dragon person in, I forget the name of the language, the dragon tongue, and just say like, hey, how's it going? What you got there?
This white-haired elf is speaking to you in Draconic. Crib.
Absolutely fucking terrible. How are you doing?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
In Draconic, of course.
Yeah, she's just been through like a lot of trauma, but we don't have time to worry about that right now.
It's been a long day.
Honestly, who hasn't at this point?
I say, sorry to hear it, and I walk over to where they are.
All right.
I'd like
So
to, if...
By the way, I don't think we got your name.
Oh, I forget myself. I'm Samson.
Okay. Good to meet you, Samson. Everybody,
asked-
this is Samson.
I'd ask
You
all your
want-
names, but I won't remember them.
Yeah, you'll catch on. Samson wants to go to Arkney, and I think that's a super idea.
Right. Well, on that note, I have some bad news. Between the fact that I gave away a lot of my money and the fact that we're probably going to be a little bit delayed, I'm probably going to need to borrow some gold from somebody in order to pay the fines on my library book.
I can spot you.
I think we could take care of the library book.
Right.
Yeah, well-
So, why doesn't everybody join me inside the town hall so that we can look at something privately?
That sounds like a great idea.
That's a great idea. Let's do that.
All right, so I usher everybody into the town hall, and I kind of stop at the new elf, and I'm like, honestly, I don't care. You can come if you want to.
Are you
I'm
a
without
narc?
skin.
I start telling her a story of that time I forgot to return a library book and had overdue fees. I don't think she listens much.
Amazing.
You're correct.
Akiri, however, is entranced.
So you're gathering in the smoking wreck of the town hall, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Does the alderman come with us?
His donkey shies away at the entrance, but he kind of kicks it, and enters in, and he's, like, looking around at the people, and he's like, everybody, we need to rebuild! Start rebuilding! Yeah.
Akiri
he
leans
seems-
over to Bella and goes, he's been like this all morning so far.
He seems
He
to
was
have-
drunk off his butt earlier, but I helped.
He now has a small kind of smaller flask from his boot.
Another one?
Yep.
Dude.
Is he trying to drink from this one too?
He's already emptied it.
Dang it.
Damn!
Could I cast a minor illusion on him that somebody outside is yelling, like, we need your help, Alderman! Help us rebuild!
Okay, you're gonna do that despite Bella asking him to come inside.
I missed that.
Perhaps your character did too.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
He's annoying me with
So
his drunkenness.
his sort of shouting comes from outside, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "I'll talk to you adventurers in a minute. Somebody needs me." He turns right around and rides on his donkey out of there.
Honestly, Bella, I think he's kind of useless.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's not my problem. I don't know why anybody would leave him in charge of anything, but we have a much bigger situation on our hands. So we came here, as you know, to get the deed to the place with Kront and to prove his thing because he's the nicest person that I've ever met and I love him. We ran into a little bit of a hassle here. It turns out a lot of people are looking for the deeds to their properties so that they can get going on some of the rebuilding efforts. Not totally sure why they need the deed to the property in order to rebuild their house, but that, they all really seemed like they needed it. And we found this charming artifact, and I unroll the skin.
Is that skin?
Yeah.
Do we think that's like from a person? What is
Wait,
this?
everyone, are any of you missing skin?
On it
I don't-
is burned a bunch of words in common.
Okay.
Written in green on the map.
If you ever want to see your papers again, come to the tower unarmed with a lot. What? I guess the papers he's talking about are these deeds. Is that what we're thinking? Because you didn't find any deeds here, is that right?
We didn't find anything. There's no, this, you can see that it's been pretty well looted. And
Right.
I can only imagine how many papers and records and books and all sorts of things would have been in the town hall.
Right.
Going back, at least 200 years since we know Kront lived here. So, yeah, everything is, it's been completely looted, and the only...
They want lots and lots of presents.
I wonder
Lots
if
and
our
lots and
presence
lots.
is enough.
Do we know what the tower might be?
No idea. So we don't know where to go. We don't know who these people are or
See?
what presents they want or when they absconded with all of this. I
Well-
assume some in the chaos, but it doesn't seem like it's the sort of thing the demons did.
No, this is not the work of
Seemed on
demons.
destruction.
This
Could
is
I,
not devils.
Could I roll to see if I know of like a famous tower in the area?
Sure. Go ahead and roll a history check for me.
And Kira goes, well, I know of one, but I don't think that's where they went. I highly doubt it.
Is it nearby here?
It's about a week away.
Oh, that seems far.
Far.
Maybe.
Exactly, so I doubt it. But I mean, nah.
With your history check, you don't know of any famous towers around here. Perhaps, but with your researcher ability, you would be inclined to guess that you could ask some locals.
I interject and say, hey, if we don't know anything about a tower, maybe someone around here knows about this tower you guys are talking about?
Well, okay. Let's talk about this. Because how big a problem is this really?
The lost
Um,
entire town hall full of records by somebody whose idea of leaving a ransom note is to skin somebody and then burn words onto the skin.
Okay, that part bothers me. I gotta admit that. Like,
Don't know what order it happened in. Just
the
saying.
fact, if this is true, the fact that they're gone, I could care less about. I have to be honest with you. I don't really give a crap.
The only
But
thing
the fact
is-
that they're asking for something in return for them, I don't like that.
Well, I mean, and also it's been burned into human skin.
Yeah, okay.
We don't know that it's human skin, though. It could be any kind of skin. Do we know that it's human skin? Can I make a
Humanoid.
medicine check and see if it's human skin?
As you're examining it, there's the sound of "ee-ah" as Alderman Gamey returns, preceded by a cloud of booze-smelling air. Oh, bummer. We're not hearing Haley. It's not quiet Haley again, is it? Well, try saying something.
Hello?
I hear you.
I heard you.
Oh, it's better, yeah.
Oh, I was just wanted to point out that we need the townspeople on our side. So if we can do this for them, then we can win the loyalty of the townspeople, which is very useful, especially if we want to go investigate Platform.
I agree. I think having this, the more people we have on our side, the better. Having the townspeople on our side is a good idea.
In the midst of this conversation, the gamey Steelhold comes blundering back inside. And he's waving the rolled up paper with the big red seal on it. And he says, I thought somebody needed my help, but they're all just standing about like a bunch of louts. Louts who are going to rebuild the town, and we will all be brave in this time of difficult strife. Now, what are you people doing here? Where's all the town hall records? Somebody said that there was a ransom note.
Yes, I show it to him and I say, you might not want to touch it. It appears to be skin. Do you have any idea where this tower might be that we need to go to, or who might be attempting to demand lots of presents?
He kind of looks at the at the strip that you're holding up, and he just goes, ugh. And he says, Hugh Barham didn't say it was a ransom note on skin.
Wait, what do you know about this? What do you know about this ransom note?
Mason, outside, he said there was a ransom note. What I want to know is who stole it. That's what we need to find out. We need to find out who stole everything in the town hall, including some important records of who owns what, and validating things, and the original of this. And he holds up the rolled up paper.
So do you know what tower this could be referring to, Gamey?
Tower? There aren't any towers around here. There used to be one, but it's ruined before I was born.
And where
would that be?
It's just on the northeast side of town.
Oh, that one.
All we needed to know. And at this point, I'm going to do my best to clock him upside the head and knock him out.
Wow. He just came in. Okay. All right. Let's do this.
As long as he's outside the view.
Well, outside of whose view?
The crowd outside.
Well, he did just come in, and there isn't much of a door in the burned wreck, so...
Everybody make a human wall. Human
I'm
wall.
gonna beckon him over to the side.
Uh-huh. And then knock him out. Okay. Alright. Sure, he has no reason to refuse a beckon. You beckon him, and then you roll an attack. What are you using to knock him out? Your fist. Alright.
That'll be a 20 to hit.
Okay. Now, I think your fist will only deal like 1d3 damage. Which might be enough. So go ahead and roll a d3.
Ha!
Pop!
Well,
on the chin.
Would I add my strength modifier?
Yes, you would.
So that'll be 4 altogether.
Okay. Well, with one enormous haymaker, wham! The alderman's head snaps to the side, and he goes, and falls off the donkey.
Wait,
Is he
was he?
down? Is he out?
He is collapsed on the ground, burping to himself.
I'm going to take the paper from his hand and hand it to Equitus, and then carry him back to his house. And if anyone glances at us, which I'm sure they will, I was like, well, surely we can all understand how stressed he was. Looks like the drink finally got to him. I'm going to take him back to his boathouse so we can sleep off this this relaxation he's imbibed.
There's also a ring of keys that clatters as he falls off the donkey.
I'll let someone else. Well, I might.
Akiri will grab him.
Okay.
Very well.
Is there a?
This is a very different side of breath.
Yeah, I like this. Is there a maybe a in the rubble around? Is there maybe a larger kind of flat rock that Equitus can kind of step on top of to kind of stand over to kind of get him raised above?
He could stand on the table.
Okay.
Or a chair.
Hey, that's very Les Miserables. So yeah, sure, let's do that.
There's a bunch of empty bookcases, a filing cabinet, a desk, a table, some chairs.
Okay. So yeah, as Breath is dragging the alderman off, Equitus will get on top of stand on top of the table. If he's standing on top of the table, can the crowd see him? Is the crowd pretty close by?
I think we're inside, so I think you'd actually have to go out front.
Right, but I was imagining like no walls.
The walls haven't completely burned down. The roof has partially collapsed. It's
I
not
mean,
a very
we
large
couldn't
building.
tell that this had happened until somebody actually walked through the front door and looked around.
Oh, okay. Well, then instead of standing on top of a table, I would rather walk outside to the crowd.
Ah, okay, sure. So, yes, there are a number of people outside, including the town guard, still kind of keeping people out, because I guess the alderman didn't change his orders. He's trying to convince people to go off and rebuild. There's the mason that found the ransom note, and there's a couple of other bowyers and farmers standing around, and you can see Barbara Arnarls kind of walking back in this direction. The one that oh yes, you didn't see her before, so you don't know who she is. A woman is walking in this direction.
Okay. Well, I would like to cast thaumaturgy and kind of make my voice louder.
Sure.
And let's see, how long does that last? A minute. Okay. And I'd like to say, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to try to get everybody's attention and, maybe do one of those whistle things that I can't do. They're really cool.
Your voice booms out across the little lake in the middle of town.
I'm going to say, listen, we've come through a lot, and obviously the town needs some help right now. It needs all of our help. And we can, and I'm going to look at the mason. I'm going to say, does the mason have, I wouldn't know he's a mason. gonna say,
Well, he was carrying the mason's hammer.
okay.
Yes.
Then I'll say, you with the hammer. We need to start rebuilding. What we need to first, our priority needs to be to get the fires put out. Anything that's burning, we need to put out everything that's on fire first. And we need to start forming bucket lines. We need to do whatever we need to do. We need to go through the houses to see if anybody is trapped. If you have friends, make sure that you find your friends and catch up with them. Neighbors. We need to know who's here, who isn't. We need to start rebuilding.
Make a charisma roll.
Straight charisma.
No, queer charisma.
Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Yes, happy Pride Month. 22.
22. More
I mean,
people.
I feel like it probably should be like a straight charisma and a gay charisma, just logically speaking.
I mean, wouldn't it be like something like, I don't know if it'd be charisma though.
As Aquitus's voice booms out across the town, people's heads turn, their ears prick up. All races, sizes, and creeds. Their attention is caught by this very charismatic tiefling, speaking of working together and forming bucket lines, putting out fires. Very different from the alderman's rasping ramblings. The man you addressed with the hammer kind of rubs some of the scars across his face. And a woman steps up next to him. She has a sickle, and she raises the sickle, and he raises the hammer. Together, and they say, "Yes, he's right. We've got to work together. Come, friends, comrades, let's do this."
All right. And yeah, okay. Man, now I want to help, but we have more important things to do.
Let's quietly sneak off.
Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will get the mason. Can I tap the mason on the shoulder? With the mason hammer.
People kind of go off and as if, doing as you have said, saying, "Well, the alderman said that we need to rebuild anyway." Kind of trying to go and deal with some of the still smoking buildings, even after the menagerie blasted the town with water. You step up and tap the man with the large hammer on the shoulder. He turns and looks... How tall are you?
I think I said... Let me...
Tall, short, average?
I'm tall. It's like 6'3".
He looks up at you and says, "That was a good speech."
Well, thank you. I mean, it's needed to be said. I don't think your current administration was quite getting it done. It just needed a little push. The crowd needed just a little push in the right direction. You look like a guy who knows his way around, who is pretty handy with tools. Is that right? Is that a good assumption?
If it's stone, I know how to put it together.
Good, and I bet you know people who can help you when in other areas that you're not as familiar with. I'm sure you have a network of people that can help.
What?
This effort here is going to need somebody to sort of make sure it gets done in the most efficient way. And
I thought we were just putting out the fires.
There's a lot of fires, friend. There's a lot of fires. And I just think
well, yeah. Why don't you do it? You could talk to Thomas Accord. He's a carpenter. I
All
work with him
right.
sometimes.
Well, I would be happy to talk to him.
You feel an
but-
intense pain in the palm of your hand,
Oh, shit.
running up your forearm and making it shake. There's a glow that comes out of your hand, and the scarred man looks down at it in alarm.
Okay, I kind of put that hand sort of under my cloak that I'm wearing over my armor, and I say, yeah, it seems like you already have a relationship with this Thomas Accord, and we're new in town, and I don't think that anybody from our group, me especially, if you look the way I do, I'm already kind of suspicious around town. Even, though I did help. But I think that if there's any kind of leadership in the community, that it does need to come from the community. And frankly, you look like a guy that has some leadership potential.
Thanks. I don't know if I agree, but I'll talk to Thomas. He looks a little weirded out now.
Hey, did Akiri see the whole arm glowing thing?
Are you still in the ruins of the town hall?
Probably not. Probably went out to see what Aquitas was doing.
Okay, then you saw it.
Sweet. She's squinting suspiciously at you.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Mason, sir. We'll I'll let you.
He kind of starts to put his hand forward and then glances down like he was gonna shake your hand and kind of reconsider.
I'll put the other
and he
hand
says,
out.
he shakes your other hand and he says, "Idborn Broadhold."
Nice to meet you. My name is Equitas.
Right, you are.
And we will. We're going to have to leave for a little while. But
You're
we're
gonna
going to
find.
be back.
You're gonna find the
real
records of my
soon.
business, right?
We will. Yes, sir. We will. That is where we're going right now.
I sure hope they weren't burned.
I do too. But we'll find them. We'll find
Right.
out what happened.
I believe you.
All right. Well, you be careful and get out there and help who you can.
I think everybody needs another nap, but we'd better put out the smoking buildings.
I think that's a good idea.
Oh yeah, DM, what time is it?
It is 4:30 in the afternoon, around that,
Thank you.
judging by the height of the sun.
So I went outside when I heard the booming voice. Could I do an Arcana check on the arm thing I just saw? The burning hand?
You absolutely can. Is there still a difference between spellcraft and Arcana, or is there just Arcana now?
They're just
Arcana.
Arcana.
Just yeah.
Make an Arcana check.
It's a 20.
Oh boy.
Not natural though.
Yeah, 15 plus 5.
Judging
Still-
by what you saw and the sudden change in his behavior, you recognize that as powerful magic that can be placed on someone to cause them to do something. Normally it's placed by like a powerful religious spellcaster, like a cleric, on someone that they want to reform. Or it can be something placed on a paladin who has betrayed their beliefs to get them to go on a quest to do right, to accomplish some deed. That is normally how it's used. And it is called a gech.
Like G-E-G-H?
Geas. It's Gaelic.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So I'd like to
You can say
walk
Gesh.
up to
You can say Gesh.
Gesh. Was that was Equitus? Is that right?
Right.
I'd like to walk up to Equitus and just, with a big smile on my face, very cheerfully say, "Oh, a Gesh! How'd you get yours?"
I'm just going to all right, let's talk about it. So so there was a thing out in the woods. Well, it was it woods? It was out on the trail, and
It was on a bugbear, actually.
right, it was on a bugbear. It was this symbol, and I don't know, man. I touched it, and ever since then, I've had this feeling like there's something I need to do.
That is fascinating. Just fascinating. I could write about you for pages and pages. Could you describe the symbol?
Akira's gonna point at Equitas right now and be like, "Ha! I knew something was up."
Yeah, don't write about me, dude. I'm not gonna let you do that. I don't want this out there right now.
I understand. It does require consent to write about people in papers.
And I'm gonna turn to Akiri and say, this is not a good thing, Curls.
Oh, I know. I told you it was a bad thing, remember? And you still freaking... Okay, I know.
I hate
to bring up these past shit.
Well, it's a past thing that's affecting the present. So, yeah, it needs to be talked about.
Okay.
Probably not here, but somewhere, sometime.
I mean, we could talk about it here. I don't know what I can say, though. Because what I'm feeling is not really all that specific. But it is.
Look, I hate to be nosy, but I've read a few tomes on the Gesh, and I really think that I could be some assistance here. I don't know why you're ignoring.
Okay, well, so far the only assistance I'm hearing is you want to write about me. If you can offer some actual assistance, I am all ears.
Well, I'm sure I could find some writing on how it's cured or how it works. I'm headed to Arachne. They have some library.
And that's one of the reasons why I want to go to Arachne also, is to go to the library there and see what I can find out about this.
I mean, and that guy you were talking about is there too.
I'm just gonna walk away.
Oh,
Walk, to a corner, or just start walking back towards the blind bottle.
I follow him uncomfortably closely.
Shouldn't we be heading towards the tower?
I'm loving this.
That's on the way.
Lack of social graces character. It's delightful.
He's amazing. I love him.
Fun to play off of.
Yay, Leo.
Hooray. Thank you.
So I'm going to... is the Alderman's house unlocked?
You go over to the boathouse. It is locked.
Just dump him on, the pier.
Is
Or
there
in the
a way to
backyard.
get around to the boat behind it?
Yeah, you can just walk around the house.
So I'm just going to tuck him into the same boat that I slept in the first night.
Okay, how are you going to carry this unconscious man across the street?
fireman carry?
Okay. So you guys are having this conversation, and then Bref emerges from the wreckage of the town hall, carrying Alderman Gamey across his back. A couple of the people who had been heading off to go and start rebuilding turn around and stare open-mouthed at Bref.
Akira's just like,
carrying him.
oh, thank goodness, he shut up.
And they're shaking their heads. You try the door, and they're just watching as you walk around the house and put him under a boat.
I thought it was a boat on the water.
The boat is on the little pier here.
Oh, I see. I'll put him somewhere as cozy as I can find.
Okay. You put him in. You put him in a boat. He is now in a rowboat. Welcome, Grimslag and the man with no screen name.
Yay! Our two regulars. Hi, guys.
Indeed.
All right, I feel like we should probably head over to this ruined tower. I don't like the fact that it's been ruined for many, many years, but that's far from the weirdest and most creepy thing that's happened to us since we got back here, so I'm just gonna roll.
Honestly, if we find anything not creepy in this ruined tower, I will be happy. And very, very surprised.
I mean, I can't emphasize enough that we are going to find somebody who burned a message onto skin.
That's true.
You
Hey,
act like you've never seen a message burned onto skin before.
See what kind of skin that is.
Emily,
I mean,
you're-
technically, velvet skin.
Well, I mean, but like burned into skin?
That's true. Most people just ride down it.
I mean, they're okay. This isn't.
you can make a medicine check.
Correct, but I don't agree with your entire method of argument.
That's a 25.
Wow. This is human skin, or one of the, paler races, human, dwarf, or elf. You're pretty sure it's human with a 25. But it's old. It's been treated to not rot. Kind of like vellum, but retaining its disgusting thickness.
So it's like a
or thinness,
real
whatever.
weird leather.
Yeah, kind of like leather. More like preserved. And it's definitely. It smells faintly of brimstone, sulfur.
Akira just kind of wrinkles her nose at it, just like, ew. Huh, you're right, that is human skin. It smells like brimstone. I swear, if it's more demons, I'm knocking down the door and raining holy fire on them all.
I think it's
Well, let's get with the raining. Are we ready to head out to the tower?
Yeah, I
Equitas
really
is
feel
walking
like
in
we
the
need
other
to take
direction.
care of it.
If we're not coming with lots and lots and lots of presents, and if we're not coming unarmed, we need to be sneaky.
Akira's just like, but our presence is our present.
Wow.
Not if we're not.
I'm in favor of that approach.
Equitas somehow knows he's happy he didn't hear that.
Akira's gonna call up to him, hey Equitas, we're gonna go kick some probably demon butt. You wanna come join?
I mean, yeah, I'll start. I'll turn around and start walking towards the rest of the group.
Okay, you rejoin the group. You guys are still hanging out in the still slightly smoking ruins of the town hall. People are...
Then we should probably start heading that way.
I look at the elf who's like still hanging out, and I say, "How are you with danger?"
It's been in my youth, I enjoyed danger.
Well, no time like the present to feel young again.
Yeah.
I like it. I need some adventures under my belt. I'm interested. I'm to dip my toes in a little bit of fun.
So let's go kick demon butt! And the kid
Listen.
waltzing towards it.
And I love demons. They're so cool.
Oh, good.
Hey, you'll
I
be
roll
useful.
my eye. Equitus definitely rolls his eyes at that.
Oh, look, somebody who's finally not going to be racist at you.
Oh,
It's
I wouldn't go that
about
far.
He's so exotic.
Right?
Wait, is Equitus a demon?
Sort of
you
half.
may recall I described him as having the horns and appearance of a tiefling, which you are
A
familiar
tail
with.
kind of flicks back and forth. Cloven hooves.
I basically just keep staring at him and asking him questions about his life and, you know, his the symbol, which I assume he continues to not answer.
Yeah, I'm doing my best to ignore you.
Okay, but it's the pleasantest form of racism.
You guys traipse over the arched stone footbridge slightly to your north. Crossing over the water, now somewhat choked with snow and ash. I'll delete the text since I don't think we need that anymore. You pass by the hammering sounds coming from the forge and the bronze statue of a woman outside the smelted siren. Walking along the winding roads, people giving you your unusual group looks as you make your way along the road. People over here are putting out smoking buildings, going about their lives. Some of the children are around tossing pebbles off the end of the pier and trying to hit the front of Stray's ship. Making your way along that road, you pass by all this crunching over the snow in the afternoon, and it's getting the sun is low, and it is starting. It's really about twilight at this point. It's about it's dusk. As you guys see the broken stones of the old tower ruin in the northeast of town, poking through, barely able to see them through, yes, up there, through the trees that cluster close about the edges of Toreen. It is some distance before the land opens up again to some of the farms that lie on the outskirts. As your troop approaches, I'm going to ask everyone who's coming along to make perception rolls.
Can we get an actual marching order real quick?
Please arrange yourselves in marching order on the path.
Kiri's gonna be in the middle somewhere.
Are my is my spell powerful enough to like hide the fact that we all have weapons? Like make an illusion that.
If
so
you
can't
read
see
the text of
weapons?
the spell, I'm sure you will find that the answer is no.
All right.
To affect this many people, you would certainly need a higher level spell to change everyone's appearance. Okay. Looks like we got a 19, a 21, a 17, and then some low numbers. Alright. Now, Bella and Samson need to move their characters.
Did I roll perception or not? My roll 20 is being done.
No.
Okay, give me a sec.
Mavra.
I'm standing in for Mavra while she deals with younglings.
What has she done with the compass?
I would assume she pocketed it. I think she was showing it to the group and then kept it with her.
Okay, it's in a pocket? Alright. Well, Mavra, Akiri, Samson, and Bella notice some fluttering shadows, perhaps bats, flying among the tower ruins. Like flapping wings. Akiri, with your 23,
They're probably not
you're going
bats,
to notice
right?
that these are definitely on the larger side of bats.
Hey guys, either there's some really big bats hanging out in that tower, or something ain't right. I'm leaning towards something is very not right.
I make an investigation check to see if there's any Robert Pattinsons around.
Win isn't there. Mavra, can you confirm that you put the compass in your pocket? Is that what you did?
Yes.
Alright. Well, what now?
And whereabouts are the bats?
Fluttering about the ruins of the base of the old tower.
Hey guys, I can scout ahead if we need to. That might be our
Okay.
best bet.
Probably a good idea at this point.
Yeah.
So I guess Akiri's gonna take off. Go about. Well, how high are the ruins? Like, whatever's left of them. A couple 100 feet, 50 feet.
How tall are they?
Yeah,
Oh, tallest point probably 15 feet.
15 point. Okay. Are they like? Well, I guess you can't see that right now. So
You
he's
can
gonna
see
take off.
sort of an archway, standing alone. The stones still in place, but the wall to either side of it has crumbled.
Okay.
Before she flies off, I'm going to touch her, and I am going to cast guidance on her, and that lets her roll add a D4 to any ability check.
She's gonna grin. Thanks, Ekotas, and then take off. Probably about 40, 50 feet into the air. Or she's gonna get 40 or 50 feet into the air to take a quick look-see at the tower.
right, move your character. 50 feet up in the air is a bit for any land-based creature, but not far for something that flies. You are able to see down there with your sharp pigeon folk's eyes that there are indeed these large bats fluttering around in the middle of the circular base that remains of the tower. Is an enormous pile of papers, books, writing implements, leather-bound letter cases, and other items, just all in a heap. Akiri, are you carrying any weapons, wearing them on your person anywhere?
She has a crossbow, yeah.
Okay. The bats, seeing you fly over, flutter around, and before your very eyes transform, their bodies elongating, turning red-skinned, the fur kind of retracting. And then you have a good handful of imps fluttering about. They shriek and point and scream, and their long, stinger-ended tails are stabbing the air wildly. One of them flies up and yelling something in Infernal.
Equitus will be able to
Equitus
understand.
cannot hear it. He is way over here.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Way over here. Flame erupts from its clawed fingers and into the pile of papers and books.
Kira's gonna go, oh crap! You know what I didn't prepare for? I didn't prepare control water. Whoops. Okay. Anyways, she's gonna go, oh no! And then turn around and leave. See if that stops them. You're like, sorry!
That
And
is
then
the
just
most
take off going
Akiri
back.
thing that has ever happened.
She's gonna nope out there real hard. Real hard.
Okay, you are quite fast, so even though the rest of the party is fairly far away, you can get there in probably 3 rounds?
She's got like a 50-foot fly speed, so probably. Yeah, that's about right. About 3 rounds.
Okay, so the rest of you, Akiri comes flying back like a bat out of hell, and you can now see a kind of column of smoke rising from the ruins of the tower.
And she's gonna look at them and be like, "I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't prepare control water. They set fire to all the papers and stuff that are inside. They had them in a big pile, and they're setting fire to them. And there's like imps and stuff." And she's like breathing real hard because she came back fast.
Imps. It imps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why'd it have to be him?
Yeah, exactly. Equitus is not a fan of imps.
Same.
All
Also,
right.
how many were there? Did I get a good look at how many there were? I'm assuming I did.
At least 4.
Okay, that's not bad. I was picturing like 20, honestly.
No.
I mean, after the Lemures, we kind of expect
Yeah, exactly.
dozens of
Right.
everything.
All right, let's go see if we can take care of this before everything burns up.
I have to chock-a-block in my hand and say, let's kill some imps!
Okay, it's going to take you guys about 6 rounds to get there.
Akiri's gonna fly ahead then.
Running at full speed. Akiri can return in 3 rounds. The imps are flying about in the base of the tower. When they see you again, another one gets all freaked out and excited, and whoosh, throws flame into the pile of burning books once more.
Kira's just like, come on! And she's going to Sacred Flame that one. Because why not? Let's get spicy.
All right, spicy we can do.
Oh, that's
go
a good
ahead.
sacred flame too.
That's a spicy
All
meatball.
right.
That's a spicy sacred flame. It's a dex save of 14.
Well, I think the imp makes it.
Why do they always why do they always miss on the really good rolls? Like, I get a good damage roll and they dodge out of the way. Every time I'm so
Okay. Yeah, he is going to make the save, so he'll take half of the radiant damage, right? Or does he take none? Yeah, there's no half. Okay, it's a kill.
dang it.
There's no half on a save.
Alright. Saying this.
What?
Oh, I had an idea, but I'm not sure it'll work. Before I do anything, can spiritual weapon float? Like, can
Yeah.
I? It can. Like, could I do
But
it
the
like
imps
off
are going
the
to do
ground?
something right now. Oh,
Okay, never
right,
mind.
Bonus action, right?
Yeah, because oh, yeah, it is a bonus action. It is a bonus action. Cool. Yeah, we'll do it. Why not?
Grimstag says, "Save the books. Might be some magic tombs getting torched." I think he means tomes. Who knows?
But yeah, I'm gonna do spiritual weapon real quick and attempt to hit it.
That same guy?
Yeah,
Go for it.
I did. It was a 7.
Oh, you rolled a natural one,
just-
my friend.
Yeah, I did. I'm salty.
That's
But
an
still a
automatic
7 though,
miss.
so I mean,
The spiritual weapon whiffs completely, and the imps shriek in rage. One by one, they go bip, 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 turning invisible.
oh no. Oh no.
Poop.
Akiri straight up says, "Oh no," and looks around wildly.
Unfortunately, no amount of looking around is going to reveal the invisible imps. The giant pile of books and papers is burning. You guys are the rest of you are about halfway there. 3 more rounds. If you guys are you doing anything besides running? Just dashing?
I put my amulet into the breastplate formation.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast False Life on myself.
All right. So the two of you are going to drop back as you take one turn, not dashing. You're going to drop back to the back of the pack as you pause to cast these spells or fiddle with amulets. Sorry, Equitas.
Buddy, no.
While that's happening, what do you want to do next, Takiri? It's the wrong music.
She's gonna try to save the books, so she's gonna go down in there and be like, I don't know what to do! And, like, I guess try to pat some of the fire out.
Okay. With her bare hands?
Yep. And then she's gonna
Alright.
like bring the spiritual weapon down with her, so it's like inside the So it's inside the tower with her in case something decides to reveal itself.
Okay, well, she starts beating at the fires with her bare hands. She's
Well,
gonna take some
yeah,
fire
no.
damage.
That's understandable.
I'm gonna ask you to make a... I guess a dexterity check.
A saving throw or just straight dex?
Just straight dex.
It's a really shitty roll for her. It's a 13.
Okay, well, you do bat down some of the fires. However, you're also going to take some fire damage. And for willingly putting your hands into some active flames...
She's got high wisdom, not high intelligence.
Funny, I probably would have said that was wisdom, but maybe not.
I mean, she's also stuck her hands in a thing of aether water, so this is kind of a in character.
She's going
for
to take
her.
a total of 10 fire damage.
Ouch,
As
okay.
she whacks at the flames with her hands. Her curled feathers curling up more as they catch fire. There are books and
And she's
papers
gonna
still
go,
smoking and
crap!
burning.
And then bat her own feathers out.
Okay, you have managed to put out a little bit of the fire, but I mean, it's
Yay!
a giant bonfire. Well, it's not fully a bonfire, but it's catching. It's all these old papers and books, so it's definitely still burning.
Lovely. All right, that's what she's gonna do.
Okay. One of the imps becomes visible right as it stings her.
Oh boy.
Ah! You didn't follow the rules! Ah!
She's gonna go, I'm a cleric, I don't use weapons!
Yeah, I got a crossbow!
But I don't use it!
And
Then
your friends
he's
are coming.
continuing to like bat out the flame.
This is a 13 to hit.
Nope.
Okay, the red-skinned creature flies off again as you ignore him and continue batting at the flames. So you're gonna do it again?
Actually, no, this time she's gonna try to save anything important. Like she's gonna try to pull some out of it, if she can.
We're gonna find out how this goes. So let's see. The fire caught and was allowed to burn unchecked for 6 rounds.
That's not good.
No, that's no bueno.
I mean, honestly, Equitus is probably very not into the idea of pretty anyway, so... But the idea of killing imps would be very appealing to him.
So we're gonna put 1 check mark up as you beat at the fires with your bare hands. What are you trying to do now?
She's trying to pull anything valuable out of, or anything she can see that might have survived so far out of the fire. And like shove it off to the side where it'll be quote unquote safe.
Okay, so what kind of book is she looking for?
Anything that survived.
Okay, interesting. I guess make another dexterity check to kind of just like shove a bunch of books away from the burning stuff.
That's a natural 20!
A
So
natural
24.
20. Very nice. All right. Well, with a natural 20, we'll say that gives you 2 check marks. So you have now saved what can be saved.
Yay!
Yay, girls.
The rest of the party is going to come running up at the end of the next round. The imp that's tried to sting you goes invisible again. But another one flies in and is like, "You should have paid us and followed the rules. We know the town has money." He's going to try to sting you.
Don't deal with demons!
That is a 14 to hit.
Right.
Akiri? You cut out, dude.
Nope.
Your voice is coming like underwater.
Nope. That misses.
Oh man. Is anyone else getting her messages like in slow-mo?
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
Yeah, I think she
Yes,
said it missed,
that
but yeah, it is coming through crazy.
Okay.
My phone has like 11% left, so that might be something about it.
Might be. Okay, so that misses. Akiri, you have one more. There's one visible imp again, and you're hearing fluttering sounds and yells around, and they're talking to each other in Infernal, in this dark language that seems to cause the shadows to thicken whenever they speak it. But you do not see any more than just one more.
Just the one. Then she's gonna try to hit it with her sword. Her spiritual sword.
Ah, spiritual weapon. Okay. Roll an attack. So you guys are like running off the road here.
23? 23? Does that hit?
Um, 23. Yeah, that's a hit.
Or 11 force damage.
11 force damage. So your spiritual weapon, this force sword, slices down the middle of the red-skinned imp, and he just stares at you like, as it goes, and his 2 eyes go flying off in opposite directions as his 2 halves are split, and the 2 fluttering wings flutter themselves into ash in midair, disintegrating before your very eyes.
Did she just work?
Yes, you one-shot the imp.
That's amazing. She's gonna be like, what?
Nice.
Scared. Surprised.
You hear some shrieks of rage and around you invisibly in the air. Okay, the rest of the group, you come running up. You find, well, I don't know who's in front. I don't know who's fastest. Somebody has like a 35 move, or is that just Cordy? I think that's Cordy.
I think it's Cordy. She has some kind of a spell ability.
Well, all I know is Equitus, Mavra, and Samson are not in front. So you guys come running up on the scene. You see Akiri and her glowing spiritual weapon that you're familiar with flying around. Looking, you hear laughter, not laughter, but shrieks invisibly in the air. And there's this pile of smoldering scraps of books and papers. And then another pile of stuff that's just singed and has been shoved off to one side. And the dirt and grass at the bottom of the ruined tower here.
Akiri's gonna wave and be like, guys, there's imps everywhere, but they're squishy. And that's what she says.
In Infernal Equitus, I assume can I see are the imps that are there? Are they invisible?
Yes.
Okay,
you hear
so Equitus
shrieks
I
on the
can't
air,
see.
but you don't actually see any of them.
Okay, but I can hear shrieks.
Yes.
And I would say in Infernal, I would say leave now or die.
Leave now or die, says Equitus. Go ahead and make an intimidation check.
18.
Leave now or die. And you got an 18.
And I'm not really. All I was doing was, announcing a fight. And if I can scare some of them, that's great. But I wasn't. I could have casted something, but
There's
I
an
didn't.
answer in Infernal. Those of you who can understand Infernal understand it to be saying, "We will have our revenge. Balvroxos will come for you all."
Does Equitus recognize that?
No, but it doesn't sound like a nice name.
How about Samson?
Does Samson understand Infernal?
Yep.
Then he certainly did hear it. You don't recognize the name necessarily. I'd certainly allow a history check. Or just a straight intelligence check.
Ooh, that's a bad roll.
Oh no, buddy.
Unfortunately, you have never heard of this thing before. Sounds vaguely fiendish, but whatever master these imps serve must be not worthy of too many notations in the history books, you think.
I yell out, revenge for what? In Infernal.
We're not bringing them lots and lots and lots and lots of presents.
You should have followed the rules! Is anyone else going to do anything as Aquitus's words seem to... The voices are fading on the wind as the invisible imps fly off in fear. Is anyone else going to do anything as they try to fly away?
Is anything else still on fire?
What is still on fire is probably too much on fire to save.
Yuri's gonna swing wildly with with her spiritual weapon and hope for some.
Does somebody have the papers that were saved?
They're shoved into a corner away from.
There's a pile of them. About half of the stuff was rescued. But the rest is smoldering bits and scraps on the ground.
Can I grab some of what was saved so it
Sure.
doesn't blow away or anything?
You grab some of what was saved and what?
Just so I can keep it safe, it doesn't blow away, or no one else
Indeed.
comes and grabs it or anything.
You start the dwarf starts gathering bundles of books and papers up in her arms. Looks like there's something, some of it's singed, but you can see like minutes of town hall meetings, You can see records from when the town had its own newspaper. Looks to be in that old archaic language they used to speak in the days of the Empire.
Do we see the deed for the blind bottle?
Not at the moment. But I mean, she's just gathering it up. You haven't really,
Okay.
looked through the papers in any detail.
I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna ask Krim to come over to come to the actual fire with me and say, "You can reach into there without hurting yourself, can't you? Maybe we could find at least like some little scraps of things that could help people."
I only take half damage, but yeah, I'll start trying to put what's super on fire out.
Okay. What are you using to put it out? Just like gonna pick up the burning book with your scaly hands?
Gosh, does anyone have like a blanket or something?
I'll offer my bedroll.
I would just. Okay, then I'll try and put your bedroll out and smother the flames. Probably just kick it out and spread it out so the flames aren't as intense.
All right, make a dexterity roll. Ooh. You smother the flames, and then you kind of look underneath, and it's like several blackened bricks that these books have turned into. There might be words here and there that you could still read. But for the most part, the stuff that Akiri didn't pull out has been burned to crisps.
You said it was only books that burned?
No, books, papers, some bundles of letters.
Okay, I say we take what we can safe back to the town hall. We look for, Krant's deed, and then that's all we can do with these.
All right then.
Equitus is sort of standing to the side, letting you guys root around in the paperwork.
All right.
I immediately volunteer myself to help sort out the paperwork. It's my favorite thing.
To whom do you volunteer yourself? You mean when you get back to, like, whom are you speaking?
Who just said? Someone just said. I say we take these back to so and so and do so and so.
That was Krimfenstall, the Dragonborn woman who was Crawler Krim, who was smothering the fires with the blanket.
I'm responding to her then.
Well, that would be greatly appreciated, especially if it's your favorite.
Anytime.
Well,
all right.
Let's
So
go
you
for it.
guys, having gathered up the surviving documents, what are you going to do next? There's some dirt and sticks and grass mixed in there from where all the stuff was lying on the ground. But otherwise, you have rescued some of the town's archives. About half of it. What now?
I vote we
back
take.
to the town hall.
Yeah, we should probably sort everything out. I'd say either at the town hall or the blind bottom.
Well, I think I still have a point of exhaustion, so I would not mind going back to the blind bottle.
Yeah, same.
Also, the town hall is like mostly on fire and pretty terrible and stuff.
It's not on fire. It's still smoking, but the fire was put out by a stream of water. A wondrous sight. A giant dragon turtle's head stuck out of the traveling menagerie ship and emitted clouds of steam and water that put out the fires.
Still probably not super pleasant to be in. The
Probably
town hall.
not. Probably not.
Yeah, I think the blind bottles are best bet, just because it's the most intact. And we'll have plenty of tables and stuff.
And our two friends there might be able to help us with sorting some of the older documents.
Exactly.
We might. Well, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
And we can see how Cordy's trip is going.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably check in on Cordy.
Maybe we can bring her some orange slices or something.
You guys make your way to the blind bottle, carrying multiple armfuls of books and papers. There's a slight cheer that goes up as people see you returning there. There's some people who have been putting out the smoking remains of ends for your odds. And some of the shop proprietor and a couple other people look up from what they're doing, covered in ashes for the most part, but they kind of say, hey, yeah, it's you guys. Thank you, says the small child. Thank you.
You're most welcome, little one.
Echo just smiles down at the child and says, "You're welcome."
Oh yeah, housekeeping note. On the way back, Akiri did a cure wounds on herself.
Alright, the small child smiles at you and goes back to helping her parents try and remove the wreckage of the collapsed roof of ends for your odds. There's definitely people appreciate what you're doing, it's clear. So go ahead and, yeah, if everyone's moved themselves to the blind bottle, you find the place has been somewhat cleaned up during the hours, of course, you've been asleep or dealing with these other things. Kront kind of rushes forward and he says, "Did you find it? Did you find it?"
Oh, it's been quite a day, Kront.
There's like a 50-50 chance.
We haven't not found.
The half-orc looks a little crestfallen, and Ramal Kapana smiles and then frowns and says, I hope the record of my ownership has been preserved as well.
Is it possible?
Honestly, you know, this is everything that's left from the entire history of the town. We did our best to save it, but it turns out that some of the devils got away with it. And so we'll see what we find, but I think that a lot of people in town are going to find themselves in a position of having to sort of start over.
Ramal nods slowly. Well, I hope for the best.
Is it possible I could have known Kront a couple hundred years ago?
Unlikely. Kront, unless you traveled to Taurine, back then, and, went to this tavern, which back then it was called La Coupe Cassée. So I don't know.
I guess it sounds like a bit too much coincidence. Although I wasn't always at the university.
Sure. But considering this is your first trip to Arkney, I don't know that you would have had any particular other reason to go to Toreen.
Sure. How about the elf? I don't remember their name.
Aramal Kapana?
Yeah.
It's certainly possible. But again, he was living here in Toreen. Unless you think all elves know each other. But
I thought we established I wasn't that racist.
Well, you are an old man. You would certainly be able to recognize him as a fellow high elf.
Sure.
Icatus would say to... go ahead.
I don't know that he's been introduced, but there's a chance you could know his family name, Kapana.
Okay, cool. Keep that in my back pocket.
Icatus would say out loud, sort of in the direction of Aramal, but not just say, starting over sometimes isn't that bad an idea. You could make something better here than you had.
He says, I suppose that's true. And those of us who live longer than you mayflies sometimes have to accept certain changes in our lives.
That's a very good attitude to have, Aramal. I respect that.
So, I am just waiting for the paying customers to return once the town is back to normal, which may not be for a while.
Yes, it might not.
I'm gonna give the deed that Kront left, entrusted me back to him and say, well, I guess I don't particularly need this anymore, so, hey, maybe this is one of the only surviving documents left from the town hall, in which case, congratulations.
Yes, but we compare, yes. Kront,
yes,
we compare,
but you hold on to it until I find it.
the papers.
I just...
Oh, hold on to it, yes, oui, Kront, hold on to it.
I mean, bad things seem to...
Sorting out papers, yes? Kront, get some tea. Mr. Kapana, assist, monsieur. Aramal nods and says, tea sounds good this evening. And here at the Blind Bottle, unfortunately, our cook is no more. So, dinner will be a bit slapdash for a while. But we still can whip you up a chicken sandwich with sharp cheese and a glass of brandy or tea. Or maybe both.
That sounds delicious. Both.
I think I need the brandy at this point, if you don't mind.
Akiri looks mildly uncomfortable at the mention of chicken.
He is kind of counting you guys, and he says, so that will be 9 chicken sandwiches. He pauses as he counts Samson. I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. I am
yes,
Ramal Kapana, owner, at least erstwhile, and proprietor of the Blind Bottle.
Hello. I'm Samson. I'm just traveling through. I'd love a chicken sandwich. Thank you.
Who's the
Well-
ninth? We've got 7 players, and Cordy, who's tripping balls somewhere.
He
A
says,
couple of gold pieces and give them to him.
He says, well, Kront, you're hungry, aren't you?
Oui, yes, Kront will have a chicken sandwich and some tea.
See? Nice.
Something tells me Akiri might not go for the chicken sandwich.
Yeah, although she was just planning on like pulling it apart and taking the chicken out and feeding it to Brad.
Yes, that was a problem with the last Aarakocra that came through town. Myria went to extra lengths to make sure that one was taken care of. But
Akiri like snaps her head at him like, wait, another one? Another air cooker? What is this?
Oh, certainly. Aramal kind of seems a little bit more his own self as he likes to dish on the rumors and info about who's coming into the blind bottle. He says, yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
Ooh, what did they look like? Did you catch a name? And she's like super excited.
Let me think. And as he's thinking, Kront is getting out the tray of teas and brandies to go with the chicken sandwiches. He says, it was one of the names that your folk often have. A little difficult to pronounce for some of us, but memorable. I want to say Ekark? Ekark? Might have been a few months. Maybe I say a few weeks, closer to a month.
Kiri's looking.
You cut out.
Crap! My finger. It stopped pressing the button. She looks mildly taken aback and goes, "Did they have like curly feathers like I do?"
Yes, I think so. Ekark didn't want to partake of our chicken sandwich or our duck broth or our turkey dinner, but consented to some of our wanted some grains, etc. I don't really remember, but yes, I think the curly feathers. I don't know. I haven't met too many Aarakocras. I can't say that I know too much about the different feather types.
Kiri just nods and goes, "Okay, thank you," and then goes and sits down somewhere.
All right.
Mildly.
What are you guys doing with the books, slightly singed books, papers, and letters you have collected?
Bella has pulled out a pair of glasses and some like a little lap desk full of like pencils and little, bookmarks and paper clips and all kinds of different things. And she's just kind of like sorting the papers into piles on like the biggest table in the place.
Okay.
I
I'm
also,
helping Bella.
yeah, I've joined that effort, and I'm also in a pretty annoying way trying to tell them how to do it and that they're doing it wrong, and kind of relishing the sorting of the papers.
Equitas is going to sit down next to Akiri.
She's looking kind of distraught. Just kind of plucking at the burned feathers that on her hands and stuff.
Okay. Well, as you got those of you who are sorting the papers, you find, just all kinds of important records, births, deaths, marriages, going back hundreds of years. There are certain gaps, as not all of the records were rescued. And there are records of like kind of validating deeds, and saying such and such deed for such and such a location was issued to such and such a citizen, and all kinds of things from commencement, from events to mayors being chosen, to and voted on, to all kinds of just everything it's like every important paper just went into this building.
I'd like to start cross-referencing deeds against deaths, so that if there's no death record for somebody, but I can see that they bought something in a certain year, I can mark them down as alive for that year, etc.
Okay.
That's
Just trying to
Random
glean extra
Samson.
information that's missing.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so you're doing that. Now, if you guys want to look for something like specific, I'll have you roll some dice. But you can certainly kind of cross-reference that stuff, and if anything comes up related to that information might apply to, I'll give you advantage. Okay, so while they're
I'm
doing that,
certainly actively looking for deeds of ownership for the blind bottle for either
all right,
Aram or Kront.
roll a 50%.
I'm helping Bella. Can I help Bella with that?
You can.
Well,
so
fuck.
The first one's for Kront.
I also overheard that conversation, and it's the only specific thing that I could be looking for, so I'm keeping an eye out for it.
Okay, and the second one for Iramel.
For both. I have no affiliation.
Well, you do find a record that the that the ownership of the building was transferred upon declaration of Kront Three Fingers' death, about 8 years after he went missing. That ownership was transferred to one Aramel Kapana. But there was no deed issued because the original deed could not be recovered.
Well, that seems like good information. I call I take the piece of paper over to the two of them. And I say, all right, this is what I found so far. So I think that this is honestly very good news for.
Ramel says, well, it certainly bears out my side of the story. Not that I have any doubt that you are an honest man and really were turned to stone. He turns to Kront. Kront looks crestfallen.
Kront's deed is no meaning.
That's not true, though, because I think what you'll find as you read this, no deed was ever actually issued to Aramel because you held the original deed. And I think that
Kront, you're obviously not dead.
I mean, yes, and they waited 8 years in order to transfer ownership. They really thought that you were coming back. And after that period of time, I think anyone would make a reasonable assumption that you simply weren't returning, which was nearly true. So I think that there might be some kind of legal standing that you're able to work out. That being said, this has been Aremel's livelihood for the last 200 years, and I'm still strongly in favor of the two of you coming to some kind of mutually beneficial arrangement.
Rommel says, look, I love it here. I like Taurine, and I think I've got a shot at being the next mayor. So I'm not really looking to just up and leave.
Krant says, I understand. Krant has no living family. No friends other than folk that rescue Krant. Krant has nowhere to go. But maybe Krant could stay and work at La Coupe Cassée, or the Blind Bottle, as now called.
Rommel says, well, you certainly know your way around the place. I don't know. I think it might get a little awkward. What are you rolling for, Leo?
I'm looking for more document.
What document?
Like additional deeds for the same thing they're talking about.
You don't find anything for what they're talking about, but you do find an insurance document for a building you saw the sign across the way with a painted elephant. R. Gnarls' elephant.
I hold it up and ask if it means anything to anybody.
Isn't that shop across the street? I think I have not been in, but I've seen the sign.
Yeah, I don't think I've been in either.
Let me walk it over there.
I'll go with him. Ugh, I don't know why I said that, but I will.
Okay. You walk over there, carrying the document. We'll come to that in a moment. Rommel says, now, if you were to, say, buy a share, a partnership in the Blind Bottle, then that might be, I might be amenable to that. I remember you from all those years ago. We could probably work something out, and certainly I could use the help. Krant says, Krant left money behind. Maybe is in town's coffers now.
Well, how much money would a share cost?
Rommel says, well, I have built up the business quite a bit in the intervening time. We're the most successful tavern Taurine has ever seen. At least up until recently. He looks thoughtful. Probably 100 pieces of gold.
Krant had that much money, but maybe town has now.
Well,
what kind of system of banking would we be used to? Would there be like some kind of, would this be another paper record, or would there be some other source of tracking that?
probably the town's coffers would contain both the money and the, banking records.
Okay, so if that's is that a different building?
Well, you didn't see any gold pieces lying around the town hall.
All right. Okay, then that might be good news. You might be able to recover your fortune, however much that was. Of course, it's probably all in imperial money, but I'm sure they have some kind of a conversion rate.
Remmel says, gold is gold. I'll certainly take it. The question is, how will we
for the coffers.
get it? I suppose the mayor had the keys. I think Vale Proudheart probably kept the coin in her fortified house.
Oh, well, we've been trying to get in there anyway, so we could give it a try.
Krontas thinks this is maybe workable, but Kront has doubts. Have more tea. Rammel has been whipping up these sandwiches while he's been talking to you, and passes them around. Meanwhile, Aquitus and Samson have gone over to Arnarls' elephant, where a somewhat depressed-looking family is standing out on the front porch, kind of talking things over, cleaning up the around the house, and occasionally going over and helping at the next door building ends for your odds.
What is the document that we found exactly?
It's essentially a record of an insurance policy.
And did Arnell's burn down?
No, it's right here.
Arnell's. Okay. Well, you guys look sad. This is a document for your insurance policy, I think.
They look up, brightening. Now, Arnarls Harson steps forward and introduces himself. He's got these kind of crazy glasses with like one side that like zeroes in like for magnification. Like a kind of a telescoping pair of goggles. And you see that the sign, upon closer inspection, has kind of like a painting of an elephant with like a jeweled eye and jeweled fingernails. And he says, "Oh, thank goodness, you found it. I appreciate this very much, and I thank you. You must be one of those adventurers who has been rescuing our town."
Well, I mostly just met him, but I don't know. It looks like your place didn't even burn down. Why do you care so much?
Oh, well, you see, his wife steps forward. And she looks worried. She says, well, we think they might come back and do it, and we're very concerned. And we think, yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, says Arnarls. Say, being adventurers, fine-looking folk, do you need any jewels? I'm a jeweler. This is a jeweler's shop. Do you have any gems? Do you want any more gems? Everything's half off today.
Why do you guys sound so, I don't know. You're kind of suspicious. What's up with that? You guys sound like you're I don't know. You sound...
He says, I don't know what you're talking about. but you're very rude. Good evening, sir. He kind of pushes his wife and children back into the house.
I think it's pretty rude that you'd call me rude, sir. I would like to look at those half-off diamonds. Or jewels.
He says, we're closed. Is kind of pushing them inside.
I'm glad Breath isn't there. He'd just be confused.
Yeah, I'm just... Aequitas is just sort of sitting back with his arms crossed, kind of watching the whole thing, seeing how Samson handles it.
Or fails to handle it, rather.
Yes, old timer. That good job there. You really showed them what for. But I'm sure they appreciate having their insurance policy back.
I call after the owner of Amarl's and I say, hey, you know that, like, if you just hold on to that, it's not that useful. It has to come back into the records and be copied, and, like, you having it won't help you. You need to give that back.
I would
he
like...
pokes his head out the door. I just need to read it real quick.
I would like to, oh, man, I don't know. He was with a family that he shoved kind of back inside the house or shop or what. Okay.
When can I get it back from you to copy and put on record?
He says, I just need to read it. I just need time to read it.
Okay, well, can I just wait? I mean, if it's just gonna take you a few minutes, I'll just wait. I'll just wait with you in there, like, just you know, take.
We're closed.
But
thank you very much. And
well, the document's pretty important. Seems like, so I don't want to lose track of it because it's already a mess in there.
I'm gonna walk up to Arnold's and kind of use thaumaturgy to make my eyes glow a little bit.
So you're walking up the steps to his house and shop?
Well, did you say... I thought that he had kind of walked off to the side to look
it's going back inside the building here.
Oh, okay.
It's like it's his house and his shop front.
Right. Okay. Then... I guess I'll just say, Mr. Arnolds, you need to go ahead and give us that back. We just wanted to let you know that we had found it.
He says, thank you, much appreciated, and if you want to buy any gems, this is the place. Definitely, if Alderman or the mayor or anybody wants to come and check up on us, we'll be happy to turn it over, but this is ours, and I don't see why who you are to have any authority to come in.
I would like to kind of... Am I close enough to the doorway or whatever where he put the family members? Can I see them?
Sure.
Can I see the rest of them?
You can kind of see through into the building where there's like a taper lit.
Do they look nervous? Do they look odd at all?
In the smoking light of the reed that is burning, you can see that they look thin, hungry. It's Barbara, his wife, and two smallish children, and they look kind of hungry. I mean, clean.
Okay.
And they, they're kind of poking around in the jeweler's shop, which is right here, but it's kind of bare. There's not a lot of stock.
Right. Okay.
Hey,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I cut you off.
Oh, well, I was gonna say, listen, his first name is Arnarls, is that right? Arnarls.
Right.
Harson, you said?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Arnalds, why don't you come across the street with us to the Blind Bottle? And I'm sure we can get you and your family something to eat. And it'll be a nicer place for you to sit down and look at your insurance policy there.
Make a diplomacy check.
Would that be persuasion?
Make a persuasion check because we're in 5th edition.
Oh, fart knockers.
Well, you do have advantage because you did remember his name.
Yeah, but still.
He is like, no, I think we're gonna do our own thing here, but thank you, we're fine. But then his wife kind of comes up behind him and like whispers into his ear, and she's like, it's like,
I don't even want to hear it.
Okay.
When she walks up to me, I'll say, "You just stay here. I'll be back in a minute with something to eat."
Arnold says, right, that would be great. Yes, the Barbara and the children. You guys will eat. I have to look over this policy.
Hey, Arnarl. Your children and your wife should go in to get something to eat, but I gotta be honest with you. If you take that document with you into your house before we have a chance to copy it, the whole thing could be null and void in a court of law because it left the site of the record keepers.
All right, I'm gonna ask you to roll for bullshit.
And what is that?
That would be deception.
That's my new favorite thing that's ever been said this entire campaign.
He's not buying it. He says, I'm pretty sure I would know who you were already if you had any kind of official capacity here. If the alderman or the mayor show up, I'll certainly do as they ask, but thank you for the assist, and I'm not sure why you're still bugging me. This is mine.
I'm gonna kind of lean into Samson and say, why don't you take the Why don't you take the kids, the wife and the kids, to get something to eat? I'm gonna stay out here and keep an eye on Arnarls.
Yeah, for some reason it seems like he doesn't like me. So that might be a good idea. I don't do I need line of sight to maintain minor illusion? I don't see it in the text.
I guess not. You probably need line of sight to cast the spell originally.
So I assume that the insurance document is currently in an envelope or in a folder or something like that.
Yeah, it's already inside the house. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it's already inside. He's already taken it fully inside the house.
Uh-huh.
So I can't see it at all anymore. Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind. I'm like, all right. You stay here, keep an eye on him. Maybe he'll like you more, but he's a weird one. I don't know, man.
He's acting suspicious. Well,
yeah. And why doesn't he like me? I really don't appreciate that.
It's a fucking mystery. Why don't you take the kids to get them something to eat?
All right. Do you think the kids will like me? I go with the kids, wife and kids.
Barbara Harson and the two small children follow Samson back to the Blind Bottle, where sandwiches are being served all around. When you request that food be made, Aramal kind of gives you a look, and he's like, we're getting a little low on storage. We had to throw out a bunch of the food when the devils attacked. And I'm certainly willing to, spot you guys for free meals, even though there are 8 of you now. But we can't feed the whole town from here.
I don't want to get grease spots all over all of these important papers, so you can give. I have some food in my pack.
All right, so you share your sandwich around with the Harson family.
Yeah.
Not much, but there it is.
I get away from the family.
Equid has never ate his sandwich, by the way.
Okay. Well, you guys
I
can
get away
mark
from
off
the family
rations if
as,
you want.
I get away from the family as quickly as possible and go back to sorting.
Ramal was kind of trying to ask you somebody to pay for the food and drink.
Oh, I was trying to say earlier that I gave him a couple of gold pieces.
Well, a couple of gold pieces will go a pretty far way. Not going to pay for everything, though.
And Carrie will add one to the pot.
Okay. What's the bill?
Well, for each of the meals that he was putting together with the brandy and the sandwich, each one was, normally costs 5 silver pieces total. So that would be 35 silver for 7 meals.
So 3.5 gold. Akiri will throw in 2 gold and say keep the change.
I can't forget, did we ever get paid for the basilisk?
Yeah.
I think so.
You did?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, he accepts that. Somewhat mollified. And the Harsons fall to with a will, eating greedily, not quite understanding why they're getting a free meal, but not really questioning it. What are the rest of you doing?
Akiri's watching them. Does anything feel off about them, or are they just hungry?
They just seem
Breath
hungry.
is gonna, how long does it seem like? As someone who has, on occasion, growing up, came across sole survivors from shipwrecks who had gone a few days without food, how long does it seem like these folks have, since they've eaten last?
It doesn't look like they're, completely starving to death, but definitely not doing well. They look a little thin and malnourished.
Because the attack was just this morning.
Yeah,
So
this would go back before then.
I'm gonna. Oh gosh, what do I have on me?
The attack has been going for a couple days, but
I am going to walk over to them and pull out a length of rope and begin entertaining the children with various rope tricks.
smiles break out across their faces as they watch you pull different sailors' knots and escape from them.
And as I do this, I'm going to ask them if they were scared during this morning's attack. Did your mother and father ask you to hide, or were you able to see any of it? And going from there, slowly work back to why the crap are you so malnourished, but more tactfully than that.
Okay. I guess make a roll for tact. Barbara's going to be answering the questions instead of the children. Because she's there and she's like, yeah, it was terrible. The attack came and we didn't know what to do. We just hid inside our house. Is that a 3?
That is unless you're nice and give me an advantage for the rope tricks.
No.
It's pretty endearing.
And we fed them, so...
Yeah, we gave them food and rope tricks.
That's true. Okay. I'll give you advantage.
18!
So, you kind of lean into the conversation. And finally, you kind of start to get the sense that things have been tight at the Harson house for a while. It doesn't sound like her husband's business has been going great. There not being much call for a jeweler in this town.
So I do get the impression it's nothing malicious going on, just bad fortune.
Definitely. She explains that she's been trying to pay the bills by starting work as a limner, but she's got these 2 little daughters to take care of, and there's not much she can do, and she's always nervously kind of playing with the edge of her skirt as she's talking to you. And she keeps trying to look out the window into the now fully night air. Okay, you guys are continuing to. Well, it's dark outside, and out here in the wildlands, not in the city. When it gets dark, it gets real dark. It's nice and bright in here, though. The blind bottle is well lit. They've managed to rescue a lot of the lanterns and such. And they've got a big fire burning against the winter evening chill. Meanwhile, over at Arnarl's elephant, what are you doing, Equitus?
I'm kind of inching close to Arnarl's. Is he? Where is he in relation?
Somewhere inside the
doorway?
building. No, he's
somewhere
closed the
inside
door.
He's
your
closed?
breath. He closes the door when Samson leaves.
Okay.
Your breath is coming out in puffs of steam as the sun has set and it is dark and cold here in the middle, or at the end of the month of Jaksu.
Okay. I'm going to knock on the door and say, Arnalds!
You kind of hear a distant, muffled voice. We're closed! We're closed!
Yeah, let me in, Arnalds. This is the man who just gave you your life back. I just want to help. I want to help you out.
You hear a distant, heavy sigh, and some footsteps come up to the door, and he kind of... you hear a voice from behind the door saying, I'm very busy.
Arnalds, you're not busy. There's nobody there.
You're not gonna... I'll
just let me in.
Look,
let's talk.
No, I don't
Open
want
the
you
door.
to come in.
Just open the door.
I'm not
Arnalds.
inviting you in. He cracks the door open.
Okay.
You hear a latch being pulled, and he cracks the door open.
Arnalds, why are you so concerned with this insurance policy? You found the insurance policy, so you're gonna be fine. What's going on here, Arnalds?
He kind of peers at you through those weird goggles. Up at you, I suppose. He has this kind of wild reddish-brown hair, and he kind of pulls at it nervously, like his wife. And he says, I don't understand, sir. What's it to you anyway?
I'm just trying to be friendly. You have a nice family. You seem like nice people. You have a nice shop here. You know, obviously you're a man who's learned a trade, who's good at it. From what I can see through the what little I've been able to see of your shop, you have some very nice stuff in there.
For all the damn good it does me. Nobody needs a jeweler here in the ass end of nowhere.
Well, all right, then let's talk about that. Maybe what you need to do is maybe look into I don't know, trying to either market yourself a little more, or we can, if you're having some problems, then there are some options for you. But I don't think you just need to starve and wait for something good to happen. You need to go out there and make it happen.
He says, I'm doing my best. But again, I don't see what business it is of yours.
Well, you're right. It's none of my business. I suppose I'm just trying to be a good neighbor.
You moving in next door? He looks over at the blind bottle through the crack in the door.
Well, we are spending some time here. We've come to really get accustomed to Taurine. There are some good people here. I think you're a good person.
Thanks. Look, I said I was busy. Thanks. I'm not sure what you want.
Why don't just come eat with your family? Let's just follow me across the street. Let's go eat. We don't have to talk about.
I've got
we don't have to
something
talk
I gotta
about
take
anything.
care of right away. Yeah. Special order, actually. Some gems finally came in. And, we don't have a really good source of gems here in Taurine. We're not by the mountains. There's no, there aren't really any freshwater pearls or anything. Nobody really wants a jeweler in a small town like this. But an order came in, and I've got to hustle. That's why I needed the insurance policy to, make sure that everything's in order.
Okay, and is everything in order?
Yep. Looks good. We're very blessed. Mm-hmm.
All right, then I'll be taking that insurance policy and I'll get out of here.
No, I need it for tonight. I just need it.
No, I'm gonna have to insist. I'm gonna cast a message, and I'm going to who do I want to cast it to? I'm going to cast it to Breath, and I'm going to say, Breath, can you and as many people as you can bring over come to Arnarl's elephant?
At the table, I, apropos of nothing, suddenly say, I sure can. Oh, wait. Okay. Hey, friends? Can you come here for a minute? And I wave over various members of the party. And I say, excuse me, and I leave the rope for the kids to play with. And
Barbara, as you interrupt the conversation, looks up and is very much surprised, but goes back to eating and drinking the brandy that she somehow ended up with. Kront slides them a few extra cups of tea.
I relay Equitus's message and begin making my way across the street with anyone who cares to follow.
Kiri's going.
I'm coming.
Okay.
I'm coming.
All right. Go ahead and move your characters. You guys cross the street, leaving Barbara and the kids and whoever stayed behind back at the blind bottle. Arnarl's elephant is shut up, but you're still hearing some odd noises, like kind of loud wooden clattering thuds. I really gotta stop fiddling with this.
Kiri's gonna call, hey Equitus, you good?
We may need some help. Arnarl's here got to his insurance policy. He wanted to was in place, but he doesn't seem to want to give it back, and I think we might need it. And to be honest with you,
were you trying to keep Arnarl's at the front door while this was going on?
Yeah, I mean, the whole time when they've been walking over, I've been saying stuff like, I'm going to have to insist that you give me that.
So you're just arguing with
policy.
him. You're just arguing.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right. Well, when he sees all these people coming over, he's like sweating, and he's like, "Look, you know what? I know what it says. Maybe you should just take it."
Okay, and I'll take it from him. And I'll look over at everybody and I'll say, well, I gotta tell you, I have a really bad feeling about Mr. Harson here, but
Says
I
what?
don't.
What do you mean?
And I'm gonna ignore him, and I'm going to continue talking to the rest of the group and say, but I don't see the point in violently taking him out of his own home.
Do you think that I'm? Can I make an intelligence check to see? Because I feel like he wants to burn down his place and collect the insurance money.
Duncan.
Equitus, run! It's a dog!
Oh no, shit!
I'm not sure what you're asking me, Samson.
I want to.
So you have a suspicion.
I have a suspicion. Can I commute? Like, is that something that I just know and therefore my character knows?
An insight check?
If that's what you think is going on, then that's what you think is going on. I
guess I could just sure.
I don't really know that there's any need for a roll based on that.
Okay. All right. I turn to the rest of the party and I'm like, yeah, he mentioned that he wants the insurance policy, like something about in case they come back or it happens again or something like that. And he's clearly on tough times, so I think he probably wants to burn his place down and collect the insurance.
He turns this amazing shade of vermilion, and just says, totally at a loss for words.
And that wouldn't even make any sense, because it's nighttime and everyone would see the fire.
Arnold, come on. And is the door still open? At least you said he'd cracked it. Is it still cracked?
Yeah.
I'm going to grab the door and try to swing it open.
He shouts, "Help! Help! Invasion! Home invasion! Burglars! Thieves!"
Yeah, that doesn't stop me.
He's shouting at the top of his lungs as you push past him into the jewelers.
And I'm going to just look at him, kind of glare. And I am going to do the thaumaturgy eye thing. I'm going to make my eyes glow in a sickly, evil kind of yellow color. And I'm going to say, all right, spill it. Tell us what's going on. You owe somebody money, right?
Go ahead and make an intimidation check. Is anyone besides Equitus pushing inside? Or is Equitus alone in this?
No, Akira's just watching the fire rip from a mild.
I'm confused by this entire situation, so I'm wondering why we're even talking to this guy. I'm standing outside.
You've got to start asking for advantage before you roll, guys.
I know. That's why I was so upset.
I'm not gonna apply it this time. Okay. You're yelling at him. He's yelling at you. He's shouting for help. That might awaken some town guards or other folk nearby to come help. In the meantime, I'm going to ask Equitus, who is the only one inside and who has dark vision, to make a perception roll.
Okay.
Can Akiri grab Krim's hand and just kind of like slowly back away from this really really going south situation. Be like, we have no part in this.
Sure.
I get with her.
Okay. So you guys are backing away. Bref, you're just standing outside?
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on, so I'm just hanging out.
Samson with a 16. Sorry, Samson, you're outside. Equitus with a 16. Your eyes, which are glowing, catches sight of a pile of old furniture, papers, looks like some oil-soaked cloths, all piled up in this corner of the house, away from where you could see through the crack in the door. Just at this end of the house, piled up against the back door, kind of.
Do I have the insurance policy right now?
He tried to hand it back to you and hope that you went away.
And I think I said I took it from him.
Well, he actually handed it to you.
Okay. All right, either way. So I have the insurance policy, and I noticed that, and I'm going to say, you're not going to do that, because I'm about to tear this insurance policy up.
Well,
Is the door now open?
Yeah, the door is wide open. You can see into the kind of slightly cramped jeweler's shop with all of these various gem-cutting tools all about, and a pretty small stock of gems.
Arnarls, just tell us who's shaking you down. We can take care of it.
I'd like to retrieve the policy from
Equitus.
Paul's hand. Equitus, thank you. Equitus' hand.
Will you let him take it, Equitus? This guy you just met?
Nope. I don't think he would.
You tug on the paper, Samson, but the tiefling is not letting go.
I just want to check if he's altered it. That's all.
All right. Yeah. Okay, we can look at it together. Sure.
Well, I'm worried.
I'll hand it to him. If he says when he says that, I'll hand it to him.
He's like the guy. Arnarls is steady. Are my wife and kids okay?
They're
Your wife
fine.
and kids
They're
are
eating.
fine. My suspicion is that he's added a policy against fire, and I need to check it before the ink is dry. And I'd like to do a perception check.
You flip through. This is going to be an investigation check.
Okay.
Which is better for you.
Indeed. God damn it.
A 10. You flip quickly through the pages. You're not noticing anything. You don't really have time to read it, and the light in here is a taper, which is a burning reed. So it is terrible lighting.
Well,
and you do have dark vision as an elf, but that doesn't really help you see color changes, and so it's hard to read writing in darkness.
I don't see anything. It's kind of dark, though.
Okay. Well, then it's gonna, it's definitely gonna be destroyed in a minute if you don't start telling us what's going on, Arnarls. I promise. We just want to help.
He says, "You serve the devils, don't you? You just wanted to clear them out to make way for your own rule."
Devils would not be feeding your wife and children right now.
To what?
To nobody. We're feeding them chicken sandwiches. Do you want a chicken sandwich?
He sits down on the floor and starts crying.
I'm gonna sit down next to him and put my arm around him. Say, it's all right, man.
Roll to comfort.
Would that be maybe...
Just charisma, I guess.
Okay.
Unless you have skill in trauma counseling. Proficiency.
Right.
Eventually, with your 14 charisma check, the story comes spilling out. how the family fell on hard times, how he thought that building a jeweler's in Toreen was going to be this amazing idea. The last time Stray came through, she bought a bunch of his gems. But he doesn't really get a lot of other business other than, the occasional wedding. And even then, people sometimes go to the nearby town of Arkney or other places, or White Witch, for their jeweler needs. They don't always come to Arnarls. And it turned out to be a very poor business investment. And he owes the builder of the place quite a bit of money, and can't afford to buy stock, let alone feed his family with his 2 growing girls. And things just got worse and worse, and he saw his opportunity when the town was burning, because they had taken out an insurance policy that if the town of Toreen were attacked, it being out here in the wilderness, it seemed like a good idea, that if the building was destroyed, then they would get, they were indemnified for it, as well as stock inside that was destroyed or stolen by, in this case, devils. Of course, their building happened to be spared in the attack, which they were going to, he and Barbara had decided to remedy, but they had to check the insurance policy first and make sure that the burning of the building would in fact be covered, and because they suspected correctly that it was only if it was part of an attack on the town. So it had to be done. So the plan was to do it shortly after the attack. And he just says it probably would have been burned anyway. They just missed us. They just skipped us.
Well, Arnarls, everybody else in this town who has lost their shops would give everything to be in your position right now. So that might be something to keep in mind.
He sobs into his hands.
Why don't you just rent the place out to the people who lost their places until they can build them again? I bet you could make a bunch of money that way.
What?
It's not a bad idea.
I don't know. Think about it. Less illegal way. Plus, I mean, we're gonna tell that you did that. Like, we're gonna tell this to people. So if you burn it down, you're not gonna get away with it. So maybe time to start thinking about legal avenues.
Well, I don't think we need to get the law involved right now.
Oh, I'd rather not. I'm just saying,
I'd have to get a landlord's license from the alderman.
Well, we know the alderman. We might have some pull there. And what about this builder that you owe money to?
He says, well, the mason and the carpenter put up the place.
The mason? Okay.
Yeah.
And you okay. And did I understand correctly? Do you owe them money, or were you just trying to get rid of this bad investment altogether?
I don't know. We just needed money.
Right.
And if the alderman would just unlock the town's coffers, or something, and just pay us the money that we're owed, then we could do something. I don't know.
All right. Well, we can work on that. That's something we can help with. but you don't need to ruin everything. There are options here. If you burn it down, you don't have any options.
He says, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe there are options.
Let's go get you something to eat, and you and your family can talk. And if you need advice, we can help you. We will talk to the alderman.
He says, I wonder if Giselle would want to rent the place.
That's a good idea. Is that Shrooms and... Who is that? Who is Giselle? Do I know Giselle?
She owns the curio shop next door. Their roof collapsed, I noticed.
Well, see, I think that's great thinking. I think that you two could help each other out. I think that's a good idea.
I think renting the place out is a great idea that you just had.
He nods slowly. All right. I guess I'll come have a sandwich.
Also, like, real quick, and, you know, I'm not going to get you in trouble or anything, but did you add anything to the insurance policy?
No, I wouldn't know how to do that. I'm a jeweler,
Cool.
not a forger.
I rubbed the pages together a little bit in an effort to smear any inkiness and head back to the tavern with them.
The singed pages just rub ash together. Okay, so you guys leave Arnarl's elephant and go back to the blind bottle, where there is some cheer. Barbara looks very surprised to see her husband weepy and in your guys' custody, as it were. But she seems to accept it. Well, that was interesting. Are you guys going to kind of finish sorting the papers and then maybe go to sleep and turn them over to Alderman Geamy in the morning?
Yeah, the alderman. Definitely turn them over to the alderman. Who is
Completely
fine.
alive, warm as the sun, alderman.
All right.
I had this cute idea. Can Akiri gather the two kids and
Okay.
like by the fire and tell them a story?
Sure. They would love a story.
Okay. She's gonna and like could she use thaumaturgy to like use the fire to act it out? Or
The two little
Is
girls, each with a piece of rope that they have named. One is named Magic Horse, and the other is named Unicorn. They kind of plop down by the fire where Kapana has laid out a rug that has now been cleaned of some of the detritus from the attack. And they kind of plop down and look at you with their big eyes and listen wide-eyed to your tales.
okay. She's gonna tell them a Swordwing story because who would she be if she didn't?
All right,
and
make a
it's
performance
the one
roll.
Sorry?
Make a performance check.
Okie doke.
Unfortunately, their attention wanders midway through the tale, and they start playing with the two pieces of rope that they've decided are Magic Horse and Unicorn. And kind of making them ride around and trying to tie knots in them occasionally.
Akiri just gives up and asks Breath for another piece of rope and continues playing with them.
All right.
So, while Breath was waiting outside the store, and he's just kind of standing there, it's like, it's getting cold out.
It is.
And by some miracle, the synapses connect in just the right way, and he realizes he left the alderman outside in winter. And he's like,
Unconscious.
oh, crap. And he's going to make his way back across town and check in on the alderman.
He's still, when you get there, crunching over the snow in the evening, he is lying unconscious in the boat where you left him.
But is he alive?
You feel him. His hands are cold as ice, but you can see the puffs of steamy breath.
I'm gonna send a message. I'm gonna oh wait, I don't think I can. Yeah, I can. It's a freaking cantrip. I'm gonna cast a message and just say, you need help, Breath?
I might be too far away.
It's 1,500. It's
100,
like
120 feet, you're way too far away.
You're way too far away.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to carry the alderman back to the blind bottle where it's nice and warm.
Okay. What are you going to do when he starts waking up in your arms?
I'm going to say I will try and keep him calm and warn him against the dangers of drinking in excess. And, whoa, you fell asleep in your own boat, friend. If I hadn't come across you, why, I don't even want to think about what might have happened. On a night like this?
Make a deception roll. He says, punched me.
I know it does feel that way after a session of drinking.
Head, face, cold.
Yep, we're headed to the blind bottle, friend. We'll get you nice and warm, get some greasy food in you.
Somewhat weary yourself, you return Alderman Gimi to a warm place for him to sleep. Aramal Kapana looks a little exasperated and says, is this one paying for his room?
I've got it covered.
All right. And with that, I think we are about to call this session to a close. Unless anybody has something quick they want to slip in at the end here. You guys are going to, having sorted what remains of the town's archives, you are going to drift off to your own beds. Samson is given a bed. Leo, do you think you can make it next week?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Excellent. Well, then next week, we will pick up from here. Oh man, Bella, you missed Akiri failing to tell a story.
I really wanted to try and tell the kids a detailed historical account of, a battle, but didn't get the chance.
I always miss the best part.
Yeah, I rolled a 3.
She was trying to amuse the Harson children.
Got it.
But they have named their pieces of rope from Breath Magic Horse and Unicorn, and they are more interested in that than in any story, even one told by a fascinating pigeon person.
Those are good names.
Okay, so I think we are going to call it for tonight, guys. We will pick up from there, and we'll
we'll see where this crazy story goes next. We certainly had some secrets discovered in this session. And lots of interesting things happening. Yeah, that was really fun, you guys. Another session. We had a little bit of combat, not much, a smidge, but lots of interesting role playing, and we had a guest star who will be returning. Thank you very much for playing Leo, Kate or Kirsten, Danielle, Haley, Paul, Emily, and Jeremy. You guys are amazing players.
Thank you all so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Dude, it was a blast. You're
Dude.
great at this.
So great.
Thank you.
Thank you to Grimslag and the Man with No Screen Name for hanging out most of the show. And thank you to anyone who watched this or will watch this later. It's super awesome and appreciated. Anyone who follows the stream, you're awesome. And I think that's it. So we're going to say goodnight and, man, pick up from there next week. I already can't wait for another session of the Wildlands.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Good
Bye.
night.